Hi, I just want to give you a quick demonstration and a quick walkthrough of the effects system that I'm using to try and comp some of the big country tones. Obviously I'm without the likes of, I'm at the disadvantage of not having the MXR pitch transposer, but I'll give you a brief demonstration of what I've got with, what I'm using with my own equipment. So I've got an old Boss GT5 effects unit here. These things long since discontinued, but there's one or two other guys still here on the rock band page, guitar page, who say it was probably biggest regret was getting rid of this kind of unit. It's very rugged kind of, it'll take a lot of abuse, this kind of system. Effectively it's like stomp boxes all rolled into, all put into a steel steel frame case kind of thing. And I suppose this was one of Boss's flagship models, if you like, during the kind of the mid to late 90s kind of thing, as regards floor based effects. Anyway, what we've got here, this is how I create the sort of harmonized overdriven sound that you'll hear in songs like Harvest Home, Inwards, and certain other lead lines in various other songs like Fields of Fire, and things like that there. Anyway, so what we've got, I'll go through a couple of the settings. I've got a bit of compressor on anyway, always did have. I like a bit of compressor on most of the sounds. I just think it sort of lifts it a wee bit sometimes without the compressor, believe it or not. I actually find that it kind of deadens the sound a bit. So, but we'll not worry too much about compressor anyway. And we'll go more with the likes of the overdrive and distortion setting that I've got. So I'm using nothing too heavy. I'm using a Boss Turbo Overdrive, with the drive turned up sort of maybe about 3/4 of the way. Wee bit of bass on it, plenty of treble, and the level on it turned up sort of just past 3/4. And then what we'll also have is, this is the key part, the harmonizer. I read on one of the earlier posts this morning about the possibility of being able to achieve the same sort of tone using a Boss HR2 harmonist stomp box pedal. So basically this would be something similar, albeit with a few more add-ons. So we're in the on the board, we're using the modulator setting. You'll see here listed below, you've got things like harmonist, which I suppose would be equivalent to your HR1 and HR2 and so on, flanger, phaser, sub-equalizer, blah blah blah. I don't really go for any of the other ones, so I'm really just using the harmonizer on this, as you can see lit up here on the LCD. And we'll go through this. So we've got the harmonizer effect on. I have it set at a 2 stereo rate. You can have a 2 stereo rate or a 2 mono or 1 voice kind of thing. And sometimes this will, if you're wanting to go through that kind of, achieve that kind of Brian May type lead tone from that twin voice guitar kind of thing. And then we'll have so as you can see, this is on Harmonist 1, HR1, and I've got it set at a slow mode, the pitch at a +12, the fine at a +15, pre-delay nothing, feedback set to about 20, so it's not too much. You don't want the sound coming back at you. I would tend to let the reverb more deal with that. And the level of it, the actual level of the harmonizer effect itself, set at about just under halfway. And then we're going to HR2, which is the next setting on this. This time with the mode changed to medium. With the pitch, I have it set at 0, and the fine down to a -12. Again, no pre-delay on it. The level quite low on it. In fact, I have the level set at 0. You can sort of mess about with it and turn it up, down, whatever way you want. It won't go below 0, but I just keep it set at 0. And basically, and then the effect level, direct level rather, is 100. With the actual own level on it, say sitting at 0. And this is probably so that it's not creating too much of a chime. You sort of end up too much with that kind of, in the early days of me doing this, I kind of found it where I thought, oh God, look, I've been able to recreate the big country sound. But then when you go back and listen to it afterwards, you think to yourself, it sounds more like one of those Jamaican steel drums kind of thing, or Caribbean steel drums. So I took the level out of it and down, and I'm forever messing about with this system, by the way, to try and fine tune it and hone it. And I'm still not 100% entirely happy with it, but we've got somewhere that I think is reasonable. And only time will tell when we get back in the rehearsal room and whatnot, and can really crank up the volume on the amp and whatnot. And rather than being in here in the kitchen. But I'll give you an idea. So that's the settings I've got on that. And obviously I've got a bit of reverb on it. I've I picked a Hall 2 reverb, with the reverb time set quite high, and at 9 it goes it goes to 10, but I've got it set at 9. A pre-delay 20. Low cut on it. I suppose the low cut is really, it's your own discretion what you have it at. I have it at 800 hertz. The high cut at 8 kilohertz, and then a density of 10. The density deals with the actual the kind of how thick the sound is, if you like, how thick the reverb is, and then after that you'll have the actual reverb effect level itself, as to whether you want, almost as if you wanted the sound being really echoey. So I have it kind of set for a bit below halfway. It's probably about just over a quarter of the way, I suppose. Yeah. So if you listen to this, that's the opening note of Harvest Home. You can hear the kind of slight chiming, harmonised sound of it. And then if I pop it down in here, and we'll have a rattle. And I'll also use the same harmonised settings and overdrive settings for inwards. So quite simply, you'll have for the intro, and keep the same setting on for the actual riff during the verses. And also for the chorus. And hopefully that'll give you some sort of an idea of how I've comped and tried to recreate those classic big country 80s tones. So yeah, have fun. Cheers.